We thank the delegation of Costa Rica and now recognize the delegation of Antigua and Barbuda.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, my delegation thanks the three speakers who, between them this morning, have given this Permanent Council a very detailed description of the situation in Guatemala following the general elections held on June 25th, which resulted in the Supreme Electoral Tribunal setting August the 20th as the date for runoff presidential elections between two named candidates, Sandra Torres and Bernardo Arevalo. Forgive me for the mispronunciation of the name. My delegation was particularly struck by 4 observations made by the chair of the Supreme Electoral Tribunal this morning. Those observations were as follows. First, and very importantly, in what I believe was a show of great diplomacy, she expressed concern about what she called the, quote, over-judicialization that the Guatemala election process has had to endure over the last few days. In other words, as diplomatically as she could, she told us that there was gross interference by the judiciary in this process, outside of the rule of law. The second observation that she made was that a request that the OAS electoral mission continues to stand by the Supreme Electoral Tribunal. That was an expression of faith and confidence in the work of the OAS electoral mission. The third thing she said was that the electoral observation missions, both by the OAS and the European Union, are, quote, comforting and very inspirational. Again, underscoring the importance of and integrity of the work of the electoral missions. Now, the fourth very significant observation that she made was that the Supreme Electoral Tribunal, and I'm quoting her now, looks to the support of the institutions of Guatemala as the electoral process continues to the August 20th runoff presidential elections. That is a very important statement. My delegation was also pleased to hear assurances given to this Permanent Council this morning by the distinguished Ambassador of Guatemala concerning the commitment of our government to ensure the integrity of the runoff presidential elections on August 20th. Madam Chairman, my delegation will take that commitment at its word and expect it to be carried out. My delegation expects that what the distinguished ambassador said this morning about her government's commitment to ensure the integrity of the runoff elections on August 20th means that democracy and the free and fair conduct of the runoff presidential elections will be respected and upheld by all the institutions in Guatemala, including the judiciary. My delegation also welcomes the information provided to the Council this morning that the government of Guatemala has issued an invitation to the Secretary General, Luis Almagro, to visit Guatemala for consultations and discussions with the stakeholders in Guatemala, including Sandra Torres and Bernardo Arevalo. My delegation is very pleased that this visit by the Secretary General will take place early next week. And we sincerely hope that his visit will result in a strong commitment to ensuring the success of the August 20th runoff elections peacefully, and in an atmosphere that is free and fair. My final comment, Madam Chair, is this. As this Permanent Council well knows, a number of member states of this organization have drafted a resolution on Guatemala. That resolution is still very much in play. It has not been removed. My delegation feels that the tabling of that resolution and any action by this Permanent Council on it should now await the results of the visit to Guatemala by the Secretary General. We hope that the results that he will come back with from Guatemala will encourage us to abandon our resolution, because we will have been all satisfied that these elections on August the 20th will be conducted properly. However, I wish to stress that the resolution will stay on the table until such time as the Secretary General returns and gives us a report, at which point my delegation would, in consultation with other colleagues, decide whether the circumstances that the Secretary General describes warrants either the removal of the resolution or bringing it to this Permanent Council for a decision. Thank you very much.